two parents in Derbyshire last week actually had to fight their local registrar because they basically wanted to name their son Lucifer. Anyone who's familiar with Christianity, that's basically another name for the devil.
God forbid.
So the registrar allegedly tried to fight them on this because they said that the child wouldn't be able to get a good job. No teachers would want to teach the child, and overall they just wouldn't have like a successful life. So what, on that topic, what's the most original name you've ever encountered, and how important do you think it is in defining your success and in life? And is it time for our highly melanated people to give up the practice of giving their children anglicized names to help them get ahead in life and help avoid discrimination?
Unfortunately, the name that you have absolutely does affect your life. Unfortunately, it does. That's just the reality. As an example, there was a woman who has a name that kind of sounds like mine. Her name was Yolanda Spivey, or Yolanda Spivey, because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But Yolanda, basically what she did was she kept her same, she was applying for jobs and she wasn't getting any replies. So she did an experiment for a week. She kept her same credentials on her CV. So everything that she'd achieved, she kept it. She just changed the name at the top. And instead of Yolanda, she put Bianca White. So at the end of the week, Bianca had 9 phone calls and 7 emails, whilst Yolanda had 0 phone calls and 2 emails, and I think one, or if not one, at both of those emails were the same as like something else that Bianca got. So it wasn't even something separate to what Bianca had received. So the evidence shows like your name absolutely does affect your chances in life. So I don't personally blame Black and brown parents for naming their children more British sounding names, but I don't personally think I'm going to be about that life when I do choose to have kids. And my name being Luanda, like, it's not that well known, but it is actually a capital of a country in Africa. So there really isn't a name that could say any louder, I'm Black, to potential employers, you know? And I think that even some of my siblings, I get worried when I travel with them and we go to the airport, because I'm like, they're gonna look at your passport, they're gonna read this name, and they're gonna get stopped. And every single time I go to an airport with them, I get scared, because I'm like, you're a dark-skinned person with this type of name, something is gonna happen to you here. And I've always got like one eye on each of them. But I do have to say that I love my name. And I'm really glad that my parents didn't give me any other name, because they know that the children, regardless of whatever barriers life had already set up before we got here, they know that we're all relentless to be successful. So
yes,
yes, girl.
It is what it is.
You know, I love that. What capital? What
Angola.
Angola. Nice.
I love it. But what I do not love is Lucifer. just returning to that one. I think that what kind of stupid, and I don't want to say white people, but what kind of stupidness is that? Like, for what reason would you want? Anyways, I think the most ridiculous name I've actually encountered isn't that ridiculous. I'm gonna say it anyway. If she's watching, but it's Beauty. And I just feel like names like that really set up a child, you know, in a good and bad way. Some might say the face and the name don't match, or the child might now, you know, grow this complex because of their name. And as for the Anglo name thing, I agree with Luanda. Like, our parents were very aware that we were coming to the West. You know, and I think if we stayed in our original heritage countries, then we would all have different names. But I think, man, it's Luanda, girl, you representing a period. But I do feel like our parents were aware of the struggles we were going to face being in places like the UK, and they did their best to make things a little bit easier for us. And I do feel like generations to come aren't having the exact same problems. Like, I feel people are what's the word, embracing their cultures and their you know, African or traditional names, and making a standpoint that no, this is the name I want to be addressed by, this is the name that I have on my birth certificate, address me by that. I think that's a beautiful thing. I like my name Linda. You know, I know it doesn't quite look like me. I remember some boys that I met, they were like, is there a Y and a H there? I'm like, no, it's just it's just spelled a normal way. But you know, I've learned to live with my name. I love my name, and I probably won't be naming my kids Linda, but you know, I don't know, I think names are a beautiful thing. I think it's weird because, you know, Linda means beautiful in Spanish. I'm just, in case you don't know. In case you don't know.
No, honey.
No, listen, I've been told so many times that each time I got to be like, are you serious? I know, okay?
Who, me?
People do love to tell you what the name of your name.
Always.
Yeah. I think some crazy names I've heard, like I know someone whose like first name was More Blessings, like one name. Sis,
Not
yeah.
just one, but more blessings.
Wait, guys, did you hear? You know, T.I.'s son is called The Money?
Yeah,
Because he always needs to get that money.
Who's the money?
T.I.'s son is called The Money.
The money.
Demani.
Do you get it? The Money.
Anissa, why do you keep putting an American accent on things to make it seem like it's going to sound better? It don't sound no better. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the way you say the money. It's the money. Like, you can't make that sound nice.
Because that's how T.I. and Tiger say with their country accent.
The money.
Domani.
And
They say it a different way.
Kanye.
So there's also like
Sorry, Sophie.
Sierra, she just had a son. She called him Win. Her other son's called Future.
I noticed that.
I think celebrities name their children some out their names. I think it's because they know they're never going to have to get a real job. Because I'm like, you know that you can't be calling your son Kal-El and they're going to go to school. Like, that's a real person.
I like that name though. That's
it's Superman's name, but come on.
And babe, you know what? So my name is Linda, so L. Carl's name is Carl. So I was like, babe, do you think we could get away with Carl? And he just side-eyed me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would side-eye you as well. I'd be single after that conversation.
But it isn't like my sister, she has a very British name, white British name like I do as well, Sophie. That's my real name. People always just like, really? I haven't met any black Sophies. Is it like Sophia? I'm like, no, it's an E. Definitely.
I didn't stutter on my own name. Like, what
Exactly.
people I get
like
this
that.
all the time. When I say, hi, I'm Luanda, and they're like, I'll just write down Miranda? Lucinda, was it? I said, do you think I got my own name wrong?
It happens all the time. So my sister, she's married a guy from Nigerian descent, and he said to her, when you apply for jobs, he's just like, apply under your maiden name. He was just like, don't even apply under my name, because he's just like, and it's not, he was just kind of, guys, they're not sad about it. He was just like, this is the way the world works. He was just like, and my sister, she's Rago, she'll still put her Nigerian surname, and people are like, how do you pronounce that? She was just like, how it's spelled. That's how you pronounce it.
Period.
She ain't got no chill. She ain't got no chill. But I think that if you're going to name your child a name that isn't Western, just prepare them. Just prepare them for what they're going to deal with, and let them, like Linda said, let them feel a sense of pride within their name, because people are going to pretend like they can't take the extra 5-10 seconds to get the pronunciation right, and that can maybe mess with, because we have all met people. And like you said, Linda, I think there's a wave starting now, but I definitely knew people from African descent when I was growing up who would give you their British name, who would say, oh, I can't pronounce it. Oh, don't worry, just call me like the first 3 letters or this, that and the other. Because it was kind of like, okay, I'll try and fit, because, you know, people don't want to make the effort. But it's like, if you're going to name your child a name that is difficult to pronounce if you don't make an effort, then you got to tell them, every time, this is how you say my name.
Yeah,
but they can say Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They can say that name very easily. But when it comes to come on,
Zuckerberg,
and Tunde, they can't say.
I've never met anybody with like an outrageous name. I've just always heard people with their regular names. But I've always, as a child, just thought about, well, if I had kids, this is what my kids' names would be. Yeah. And they've always just been how I've been feeling in that moment.
Happy.
And what I've been influenced by. I don't want to say what my specific kids' names are, because, you know, you have to just keep them secret.
Yo, we know you like to keep it secret just in case we want to steal it, right?
Yes.
Putting names around your friends.
Not the same situation. I don't want anybody having my kids' names. But yeah, anyway, but I picked those names because of how I was influenced. And so I think like my name, I wouldn't call it an English name, but it's a pretty bog standard name. Everyone pronounces my name as Anissa, and the name Anissa is actually an Arabic name. So I always have people from that culture saying, "Oh my gosh, that's an Arabic name, and it means friendly." And I'm like, "Oh, great!" But that's actually not even how you pronounce my name. But I just never correct people on how you actually pronounce my name.
How do you pronounce?
No, I'm going to explain.
Anissa.
I decided when I was about 10 or 12 that I was not going to tell people the real pronunciation of my name, because that was for me and my family and us being personal, and then everybody else could call me Anissa, and that was what the line is. So that was
like
my
a stage name. It's like a stage version.
That was my own personal choice. So if you actually pronounced it the way my mother had intended, then it would be a very ethnic name, to say the least. But because it's like just pronounced Anissa, and then I won't say my surname, but my surname is a very white name, and so it's
got a crease. Because when
you see my name on paper, people don't really know who I'm gonna be.
Who they're gonna get.
The second name is English, so they don't really know who I'm gonna be until I show up. And so I can say it works for my favor in that way. But that's speaking of privilege, because I don't have like a name that has lots of different letters or has 9 letters. I have very short, concise name. So yeah, that's what I was saying.
I think I've always been very protective of my name, because I think so. It's very frustrating that like people really try to pretend like it's hard to pronounce, and it's not. It's different. And you haven't heard it before, so therefore, like, you dismiss it in your mind. I remember, like, there's been so many times I've introduced myself to someone, I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Luanda," and they'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to call you," and I said, No. My name is Luanda. There's only 6 letters. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what you'll call me. Like, my friends have nicknames for me, and that's absolutely fine, but it's not out of disrespect. It's out of affection. But me introducing myself to you for the first time, take 30 seconds to learn my name, because I never want to mispronounce someone's name. I want to call them how they want to be called. Like, even if, someone transitions and they change their name, like, tell me what your name is. Like, tell me what to call you. I want to give you that level of respect. I don't want people to be like, "Oh, never mind." I'm like, no. I'm standing in front of you. Break it down for me. Tell me how to pronounce it. I'll learn it. And then next time I see you, I can give you that respect, because it is your identity. It's your name.
And it should be unique, because every person is different. So I don't understand why people make such a big deal about different names.
Yeah.
Have you guys had that name called Rocket Inspector?
No.
Yeah. I think it was like Captain Inspector. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? Because I used to
you can
watch
call her
MTV.
Rocky. You can call it Rocky for sure.
Rocket. Like, but there's bare mad names. I was watching a show by actually from, I think it must have been on MTV, and things like Apple and stuff. But Rocket Inspector had to be the mad one. But I think Sophie's right. It's because these celebrities know that their kids ain't gonna have to struggle for money, boy. They can be called whatever they want.
But at the end of the day, guys, okay, it might give us less of a chance to be seen for an interview if we have ethnic sounding names. But when we get to the interview, if that person's still not going to hire you, they're not going to hire you. You know what I mean? So it's only like a smidgen of helpfulness at the end of the day. And I love unique names. Like, you guys know Rebel Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her sister's called Liberty, and I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like, you got like these 2 sisters. What's your name? Rebel and Liberty. Like, that's dope. That's the energy.
It shouldn't affect it, but like, I think it affects it in a big way, because it's like 60% of like ethnic minorities, they say, have to send in more CVs than white people. So it is, even just getting into that door to see them face to face is a massive boundary. So like I said, you just have to be aware of the fact what comes with it. But yeah, don't dampen your shine and be like, I want to name my child a name that I don't want to. Name your child what you want to name them.
Yeah,
it's honestly a privilege. It's honestly a privilege to me when people call me by my name, because everybody in my life calls me twin. So when somebody says Anissa, I'm like,
oh my god,
I get so excited.
But how do we know you're you? But hold on, how do we know you're you and you're not your twin?
Don't get me started. This is a short story tangent, right? But the other day I was on the phone to my mum for 37 minutes, right? Understand this. I know it specifically because it's when I hung up on her. I was on the phone for 37 minutes. She asked me at 36 minutes, "Who are you?" I said, didn't you call me? You don't even know which one I am. Oh, but just tell me, tell me. What am I saved in as your phone as? Oh. And I said, you don't know who I am, therefore we are ending this call. And I hung up on her.
To be fair, because I was going to be like, she hung up on her mum? How could she? That's fair enough.